Okay, hi. I am currently reading things, but I've got to film it if you want to know about it. And so I thought I would check in, start this reading vlog, and then we'll see where it goes. I don't know what I'm gonna read. I'm just gonna read what I want to read for a little while. So I did finish Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason, and I gave it 5 stars immediately. It was so good. So it follows this main character, Martha, in sort of a stream of consciousness narration of her life. And it sort of jumps back and forth in the timeline. So we start out in the throes of the end of her second marriage. It's basically covering her life, and she has got a lot of issues. She is not this perfect, ideal main character, but she sort of has an arch in discovering herself and growing, and by the end of the story, you know, you're just like fully immersed in her story and you're there with her through every sorrow and every bliss. It's the highs and lows of life and just described in this beautiful, eloquent way. The main part of the story is chronicling her marriage with this man, Patrick, and you start out like just seeing the worst nastiness of them both, and then we go back in time and we start from the beginning and we get to know them and watch them grow up. And it's just it's honestly so beautifully written. My thought as I was reading it was that this book is so satisfying in its creativity. I can turn the page and know that what I'm about to read is gonna be a description of something that I've never thought of before or heard described that way. You're just constantly hit with these little moments of imaginative writing over and over, and it's satisfying. Okay, like listen to this. As a child watching the news or listening to it on the radio with my father, I thought when they said the body was discovered by a man walking his dog, that it was always the same man. I still imagine him putting his walking shoes on at the door, finding the leash, the familiar dread as he clips it into the dog's collar, but still setting out regardless, in the hope that today there won't be a body, but 20 minutes later, God, there it is. Like, that's just so good. Okay, listen to this. This is Patrick talking in this first part. Patrick says, "Everything is broken and messed up and completely fine. That is what life is. It's only the ratios that change, usually on their own. As soon as you think that's it, it's gonna be like this forever, they change again." End quote. That is what life was, and how it continued for 3 years after that. The ratios changing on their own, broken, completely fine, a holiday, a leaking pipe, new sheets, happy birthday, the technician between 9 and 3, a bird flew into the window, I want to die, please, I can't breathe, I think it's a lunch thing, I love you, I can't do this anymore. Both of us thinking it would be like that forever. What an encompassing description of the highs and lows of life. Now I'm currently reading 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. I love Lily King. I read Writers and Lovers, and I read The Pleasing Hour, both. So I'm currently reading this. It's a collection of short stories. I've read 2 so far, and they haven't blown me away, I will say. I think that this is not her best work, which is so offensive to say. The first one, I felt like it was kind of predictable, like I knew where it was going. The second story is what it's named after, 5 Tuesdays in Winter. It was nice, it was enjoyable, it was just kind of this sweet little story. But I'll be finishing this up, and then who knows what I'll read next. I'm in line for Canes by myself. I don't know why that feels shameful. I've made my way a little bit further through 5 Tuesdays in Winter. I enjoyed the last story a little bit because it kind of made me feel something where I feel like most of the stories don't really make me feel much. Maybe I could relate to it a bit more. It had to do with like a mother-daughter relationship where the daughter is kind of, you know, a little bit of a poot because she's an adolescent and not very nice to her mom, and it kind of made me, you know, like feel something. But other than that, not too many thoughts, I'll say that. I think this is the second time I've eaten Canes in a YouTube video. Oh, I'm gonna get a sweet iced tea. Just had my Canes. Piper's not peeing in her litter box. She's peeing and pooping all over the house. Life's a mess, but the show must go on. I've been stuck on this page because I don't know if this is a mistake or I'm just not reading this right. So it starts out, my brother was helping me carry my stuff up to his apartment. We don't know if the main character is a man or a woman, but it's told in first person and this person has a brother. And so then they have a small conversation, and then it says, "Okay," she said, quite reluctantly. Who is she? Like, it's not the brother. Did we accidentally switch to third person? "Okay," she said. Who is that? Lily King writes a lot about writers and readers. That's a theme I've noticed in a lot of books, making the main character a writer or someone who loves reading, talking about books a lot, because that's what writers have to go off of, right? They're writing from life. You have to write from real life. But Lily King does that a lot. If I had to put together Lily King's life, which maybe I'll look it up on Wikipedia after I do this. She spent time in France. I think she lived there for maybe 3 years. Then she was a waitress at a really fancy restaurant while she was trying to get her career started. And then she had her big break and she became an author. And she's been living life. And she is, I'm gonna say, been divorced. I'm gonna say married, divorced, married again. That's my guess. Let's look it up. She just has these themes in her book over and over again. Being a waitress, French things. And I think she's been all over Europe, but I think she spent the most time in France. Oh yeah, I should have said grew up in New England because a lot of her stuff takes place in New England. And she did. Grew up in Massachusetts. Pleasing Hour was her first novel. She took a job as a high school English teacher in Valencia, Spain. So not France, Spain. 10 more moves all over the US. And many bookstore, restaurant, and teaching jobs later. The novel was published as The Pleasing Hour. Oh yeah, she writes about working in bookstores a lot too. She's married to the same guy that she's been married to. That is so sweet. I love her hair. She's 60 years old and she has the best hair. That's what I think that my hair looks like, but it doesn't. Okay, we're on the way to the pool. I finished 5 Tuesdays in Winter. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think that it held up. In terms of her writing, Lily King was really good, as always, but the stories just weren't that compelling, and I just wasn't really looking forward to reading it every time. So, and now I'm reading Traveling Mercies by Anne Lamott. It is an autobiography by her. She's someone who basically found faith through the course of her life and kind of writes about it. She's not just someone who wants to write about her life, she's a writer, and so the writing is so good.
Yeah, we've definitely eaten fast food a lot less in the past 5 months.
This is the first time in a while.
Yeah, something really good, dude.
Today has just been such a nothing day. I didn't go to church because Allie had her baby. Allie had her baby. I'm very excited about it, and if you don't know who Allie is, watch this video because I did a little video with her when she was pregnant, and now she has her baby, and I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with it, so there was literally no reason for me to skip church. I just felt like I wanted to be on call in case she needed anything. And for a second there I thought, oh, I think she might need something, but she didn't need anything. But I was ready. Anyways, let me tell you about what I've been reading. So, like I said yesterday, I am continuing reading Anne Lamott's Traveling Mercies, Some Thoughts on Faith, and I'm just really enjoying it. In some ways it reminds me, I guess just because of recency, but it reminds me of Sorrow and Bliss because of sort of this exploration of emotion and I guess sort of the search for meaning in life. There's not much plot, right? It's just these beautiful descriptions of emotions and capturing what it feels like to be human. And in a lot of ways, this is like that too. I also have started a random sci-fi book. It's called The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. A Long Way Home to a Small Angry Planet. I don't know what it's called. I've started reading that on ebook and audiobook, going back and forth. So far we've just met a girl who's lied about her credentials to escape some sort of past we don't know about to be able to work on the crew of a ship. I don't know, could be good. I'll let you know. So I'll probably change into my Frisbee clothes, go to the park early, and get some reading done. way too many raisins. I don't hate them, but like, you can't have 8 raisins for 1 peanut. Now that is a good ratio. Tell me that's not the most perfect trail mix handful. Oh, fuck. Okay. It's 3:40 in the morning. I have to drive far away. 4 hours, 3.5 hours to a work thing. And so we'll be listening. This is unfortunate. Oh, I can't get the parking brake. I'm gonna have to use both hands, so I'll do that after I say goodbye. So I'll be listening to the Small Angry Planet book, making some progress in that, and I'll let you know how I like it when I feel like it.
The holiday had originated as an Exeter custom. "It's nice to meet you," she said, and Lovey's congratulations. Ashby nodded, leaving a faint trail of pixels in its wake.
It is 9:30 p.m. It's been a long day of business, doing work, and I'm absolutely knackered. Point for the sci-fi book, I want to listen to it right now. The ride here, I was thinking, as I was listening to it, it's good, but it's not giving plot very much. It seems very long and very world-buildy, and like that's the fun of it, is kind of to just get lost in this world of new species and new social codes, and we're in space, and we're doing these science things that you've never even thought about before, and it's very fun. And we've met these cast of characters, and honestly, it reminds me a little bit of the beginning of The Hobbit, where Bilbo is like thrown into this adventure, and he meets all these dwarves, and we are just slowly meeting all these characters. The Hobbit, like, things happen in it, but it's not plot. It's like character, adventure, and then in the end we realize there was a plot, you know? And I'm feeling that's kind of the vibes I'm getting. I was driving here at 3:30 in the morning, and I thought it's good, but I'm not like dying to get back to it and know what happens. But right now, 9:30 p.m., I'm like, actually, I do want to know what happens. So I was wrong about that. I said that, and I was wrong, and I didn't mean it. I think I need to tuck my hair behind my ears. Let's see what that looks like. Nope. I finished Anne Lamott's Traveling Mercies. It's a lot of vignettes of her life, and each one she like talks about kind of the lessons she learned in that period of her life or in that moment. And some of them are, you know, have some depth and kind of hit you a little bit with the end line, and it's like it all wraps up and she learns about what bravery is. And some of them are about faith and about God, and some of them aren't. But I will say by the end of the book, I felt like it got a little rambly. I'll say I enjoyed some of the chapters more than others. I was more moved by the chapter on forgiveness than I was moved by the chapter on her getting up the nerve to get dreadlocks. Like that, you know, like some of them were just a little bit like too much of just her personal diary. Like I think we could have cut some of it to get to the meat of like the good stuff. Overall, I'd give it 4 stars. 3.8. Like I think some chapters were 4 stars and some chapters were 3 stars. Fair? I'm like 3/4 of the way done through long way to a Small Angry Planet, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's weird. It's like the adventures of this ship. It's almost like it's got these episodes throughout it. Like they're hitting these different planets and meeting these different characters. And it's like Star Trek episodes. It's like little tensions as we're like making our way to this bigger tension. There's this whole subplot about the AI who's like their, you know, like ship computer. Someone on the ship is in love with her, and like they have a little romance. I think I was hoping for a little bit more of big tension. We're not saving the galaxy. We're just, I don't know, but it's fun. and it's super creative. All these different languages and cultures of aliens and all these different ways of living and foods that they eat, and oh my gosh, there's so much creativity. It's so fun. That's the update, and I'll see you in my next vlog looking like this as well because I'm reading my spooky scary books. Okay, hi. I finished The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and I can say the name perfectly and remember exactly what it is now. I give it 4 stars. I think for what it was, which is just like a fun adventure book, it was really good. There were good characters, such creative world building. I was like lost in the world. I know that there's 2 more in the series, which I may get around to eventually, not anytime soon, but I did really like the world and I'd like to go back there if I'm invited. This concludes my reading vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Please like and subscribe because I'm at 100 cute subscribers and I want more. I want more. Click the notification bell. See ya.